Good morning, lovely grade 3s and 4s. We are moving on with some more information on our life cycles for science. And today we're going to look at the life cycle of plants, specifically the ones that flower. Okay, our learning intention is that you'll understand that a plant life cycle follows the stages of development. You'll understand that plant life cycles are diverse, and we're going to create a cycle for a flowering plant. Specifically, we're going to do a sunflower. You will know that you are successful when you're able to do a talk to the hand about the stages in a plant's life cycle to an adult, and you will be able to draw a flowering plant's life cycle. Okay, so we've looked at some animal life cycles. You can see here a picture of the chicken's life cycle. There's one here for an insect as well. You can see that they all follow those stages of development. They start with the smallest component that becomes a smaller part of the real adult, and then it moves around into the adult cycle when they're ready to be able to make the eggs again. So today we're going to look at some flowering plants and how they go through their life cycle. This is easiest for us for plants because not all plants produce seeds, so we're just going to stick with the flowering ones. So flowering plants make a seed. Seeds have inside them the whole plant ready to go. There's enough food for them to sprout and get to the surface so that they can make their own food with their leaves. Seeds are amazing. They can sit on the ground for years and years and years and wait to be able to turn into a new plant. The slide here talks about how bushfires, specifically in Australia, sometimes the plants need to wait for a bushfire for their seed to escape. So they have those little cones that when it gets hot enough, they open up and the seed comes out. Sometimes in desert areas, the seed can wait until there's enough water for it. And in parts of the world where it snows, the seed can lay dormant until it's sunny again, so it can sit there for half a year before it's ready to go. We actually have some seeds saved up in the snowy parts of the world, and they're away in a little bank, so just in case something ever happens, we've got seed that we know that will last for hundreds and thousands of years that can be grown again. So when the seed is in the right condition, so it's got the right amount of water, it's warm enough or cool enough, it's going to get some sun, and its soil has the right nutrients in it, the seed will actually start to grow. And so the outside of the seed softens, and the little tiny little green sprout will come out of the side of it. You can germinate seeds not in the ground. Sometimes you can put them on a little bit of cotton, keep them wet, and the seed will think it's in a nice safe environment because it's warm and it's wet and it's getting some sun, and it'll start to grow. However, if you don't then go and put it in the ground, it'll probably drop dead. So if you are going to sprout some seeds, make sure that you're ready to plant them. So the little germinated seed lets that little green part of the plant out through the top or the side to be able to head up out of the dirt, and that's where we get our stems. And then it also lets out the roots that are inside the seed out into the ground to begin to grow so that the plant doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't blow away. So it grows out in both directions, up for the sun and down for the nutrition and the water. Our plant keeps growing and it grows more and more leaves because the leaves are what turn the sunshine into food so that it can keep growing, and we know that living things need to grow. We also know that it processes the air that we breathe out and turns it into food and turns it around and turns it back into oxygen, which is why plants are so important for us. Then we get to the flowering and pollination stage. This is the really, really important part. The whole point of the plant's life is to be able to make its flowers so that it can come and have the insects, the bees, the birds, all come and they take the pollen and they make seeds that are able to have little baby plants. Okay, so this is that point that the plant needs to be really, really healthy or it won't make any flowers. Normally when we have a problem with our plants in the garden, it's that they don't have enough sun or they're not having enough nutrition. And if you find that with a flowering plant, you just need to give it what it needs and it will actually flower for you, because that's the point of it. Then we get to the seed production stage. Unfortunately, this means that the flower normally dies. So if you have a look at a fruit tree, you'll see that you get a flower before you get a piece of fruit. And this piece of fruit comes out of the flower and it's where all the seeds stay. So it's like a pod rather than just a seed by itself. So some plants rely on animals to come and take the fruit and move them away from the plant. Some plants will just drop their seeds where they are and all of the little baby plants will come up in that same area. So if we think about apples, we know that the birds will come and peck at them and take the seed away. If we think about some of our nut plants, their fruit makes a little nut, a little seed that's in a really hard shell, and the animals will take that away as well. Okay, so we're all really important to the plant's life cycle. Here we can see the whole plant's life cycle. It starts as its seed, it germinates, it grows, it shoots, its roots and its stems and leaves. Then the plant goes on making lots and lots and lots of leaves. Then it goes and makes its flowers, and then the flowers pass the seed on into the cycle. Alright, here is where we are going to make our own plant life cycle. So you will need your home learning journal or a bit of paper. You'll need a pencil and a rubber and some colours because this is gorgeous. Today for our example we're going to use a sunflower because I love sunflowers. The first part of our life cycle is to create the rough circle with the stages of life in it. You can see I've put seed, germination, stems and roots, flowering and pollination, and then seed production for the end of my cycle. Right, the next thing we do is we give it a title, and you can see I've done mine in the middle of my life cycle, and then we need to draw in our connecting arrows to show that our cycle moves around in one direction. Then we need to draw in a picture of each life cycle. You can see that I've tried to use the same sort of seed each time. You can see that I've drawn on my seed with a bit of roots when we get down to the stems and roots. Then I've not put the seed in because it's under the dirt. And then we move around to my flower dying and dropping some seeds. Now, I didn't even cheat this week. I think you can do a drawing, and if you can't, you can print off some pictures or ask somebody to help you or put some pictures of the seeds and flowers under a bit of paper and you can trace it. The next step is to put some information onto our life cycle. You can see that I've put up by the seed that seeds are the tiny version of the plant inside them. I've put where the germination is, that when the conditions are right, the seed will sprout. I've put the seed pushes out roots and stems and leaves with my stems and roots. Flowering, pollination has got that the flower is there to attract insects and animals. And then up with seed production, the seeds come from the flower or the fruit. So you need to add a little bit of information to your life cycle, something that you found interesting or something that you think people need to know. Last step is to make it look gorgeous. You can see that I've added a lot of colour to mine. I've traced over my handwriting with a pen so that it's easier to read. And I've labelled all the parts of my flower and my plant as it's coming out of the seed, just because that's what scientists do, and I'm trying to make it look like something that would be in a science book. Now I found you another little flash game that you can practice putting the plant life cycle together. I've also put the link in the lesson plan if you need it.